Okay, and welcome to Slice. Today I'm going to talk about, I've been watching the Ancient Alien Theory site on Facebook, and that site is www.facebook.com/groups/AA Theory. So if you go to that, you will find our group. And we're putting the members are really growing. I think we hit 40,000. I don't know. You can find out though just by going there and checking it out. Okay. Somebody was talking about on the site about how we were manipulated with our DNA and stuff, and I kind of don't agree with all of that. In the files section at the AA Theory group on Facebook, you'll find 5 chapters of a novel that I'm writing. Now, inside of this novel is basically my theory on the ancient aliens and who they were, and maybe how our legends came to be that relate to them. So, my theory is that many races were in danger of being exterminated due to planetary events on their own home worlds, and that other species or races of aliens or ETs got together, put them all in the stasis or into suspended animation, brought them here in the moon, parked the moon in orbit, and then started planting these people, making this a zoo planet. And then you get things like duck-billed platypus on certain islands, but nowhere else in the world, and yet you have beaver in North America. Interesting, is it not? So something happened. There was a bunch of strangeness. There was giants. There were people that supposedly were living in the water, as in mermaids, but in whole cities. Some of these legends that are obscure, you don't even hear them in the conspiracy rooms anymore. So some of this knowledge is getting lost. Well, no, a lot of this knowledge is getting lost, as you know. It's being hidden, a lot of it. So, I think that some races were tweaked by another race at one point or another. Remember, we got millions of years that things could happen in. So all these things could have happened, but at different time periods. The floods, the genetic engineering, the extermination of the giants through the floods, or at least a majority of the giants during the floods. That's about when the giants, you started hearing less, because somebody went around this world and warned all the little people like us that there was going to be a big flood. And what that flood was the melting back of the ice caps as the glaciers melted. Remember, 2 miles thick around the mountains, the ice would have melted quicker, creating huge, vast seas of water. And when the leading edge of the glacier melts back, it will release that water, and hence the floods. Well, the powers that be that may have brought up the species here, the races here, remember, it's very possible that carbon-based DNA is the same throughout the universe as far as humanoids. You never know. Bear that in mind, though. So, let's say that happened, and let's say that a bunch of the crewmen on this ship we call the Moon got out of line and they got kicked off the ship, and suddenly they're the fallen angels. You know, these things could have happened. They could have been a revolt on the ship. I remember that there could have been more than one race that brought this initial colonization of interplanetary immigrants here. You ever notice that some races of humans will burn easier than others? Does that seem to you that they would have evolved here originally with that problem? You evolved to your environment, so it would be the races that don't burn so easily that would have been evolving here and being transformed into whatever they're going to evolve into. So you can see why some professors say that, or doctors even, will say that, like, the Chinese could not have evolved on this planet, but rather on a binary sun planet. We don't know if this is true or not, but it's one theory that's been thrown out there. So when you talk about genetic engineering of a species, remember that it probably happened, yes, but it probably happened to the species that were located around Africa. That seems to be where the humans that evolved here evolved from. The rest of them, the Asians, the American Indians, some of the Polynesians, which actually Polynesians actually are the direct ancestors of the Inca and Maya of South America. That has now been proven. I saw quite a great documentary on this, so put that in a search in YouTube and check out that documentary on that. Anyway, coming up, that's all I'm going to say on this, is that I believe that we were put here. There's plenty of evidence to suggest that we were brought here and brought out of something into the light of this world. Even the Chinese say they came from the stars. The Aborigines in Australia say they came from the stars as well, as do multitudes of cultures and religions all over this planet. So, in every germ of legend is a germ of truth. So, and coming up soon, we're going to be talking to Tom Wood, and a friend of mine who is currently involved in learning astrophysics. But this is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Giza power system and whether the Egyptians had the inside scoop on free power. See you next time, folks.